Hi guys. So I thought while I was out enjoying the spring rain and runoff by the stream, sitting in my hammock here, I talked for a minute or two about Solomon braid, and it's a type of plait or plate, type of knotting that people often turn into bracelets. If you do a Google search for survival bracelets, you'll see this kind of thing with this kind of knot, and there are a number of different variations on this. I just wanted to maybe show you an alternative to this. For me, I'm not a huge fan of these kind of survival bracelets or storing the rope in this configuration, mostly because it has it in a configuration that is really inconvenient to use, and once you've used it, unless you spend a fair bit of time retying it, it's a kind of a one-time use sort of thing. And I think that it would tend to discourage people from actually playing around with their rope and trying different stuff, and and just actually using their equipment. I, Particularly for me, I don't wear anything. No jewelry, wrist things, necklaces, nothing. So I would never wear a bracelet like this. And for me to have a bunch of rope in a format like this is kind of a giant waste of time. There are way faster ways of storing rope in a situation that it has very similar characteristics in that it's compact. It won't knot up or tangle on you or anything, but it has the huge advantages of being really quick to arrange into this format and super quick to untie and to make it usable. And because of that, if it takes me 30 seconds to put it into this format and 2 seconds to take it out and have it a normal piece of line, I'll be inclined to use it. It's not a barrier to my using it to fool around with stuff or to make use of it. Whereas, this may take an hour to tie if you do a decent job, and it probably would be a good 15 minutes sitting here trying to untie each of these individual knots to make it usable. So let's untie the two of these and show you what the obvious difference is. Okay, that was the first one. And that was the hardest because the ends were melted and joined fairly tightly. Basically what this is a series of reef knots, and each one has to be individually untied. So I think you kind of get the idea. I'll either pause or fast forward and we'll come back to the end game here. Almost there. Okay, so we're down to some usable string now. And of course, to put it back into that form, probably the work of half an hour or better to do a decent job of it. Compared to this thing. Now, of course, this is a shorter piece of rope, but I think the difference will be obvious. So to untie it, that comes out, hang on to the two ends, and you're done. Kind of no comparison, right? And to tie it, this is called a chain plait, P-L-A-I-T. Maybe it's pronounced plat. I've heard it both ways. I'm not sure what's the way to what the proper way to say it is. But anyways, I'm going to form a loop. Pull a loop through. Let me show that again. Form a loop. Pull a loop through. And now just reach through and tug a piece along. This is even faster if you have the one end, this end, fixed to something. Then it's very, very fast to do. And essentially, you finish just by instead of bringing the loop through. Instead of bringing it through in the form of a loop like that, just pull the single end through. And you can make this very tight and very neat, or you can just whip it along quickly. And only takes a few seconds to do it, and it takes almost 0 seconds to undo it. So I think it would tend to encourage people to more readily just make use of the cordage that they have. There's a longer piece. So let's see how this guy unties. Okay, so this one's probably pretty close to the length of this guy. And he unties in, probably at 1 second. So, just an alternative. I'm not totally knocking the survival bracelets. I mean, if you like the look of them, and they do look really cool, and if you're the sort that tends to not have anything on you when you go on your travels, then maybe having a little piece that's on your wrist all the time, might be useful. For me, if I'm going anywhere, even if I don't remotely think that I may need cordage, I usually have a few small pieces like this in a bag pocket or something. I've always got some tools with me. So for me, they're just unnecessary and just take way too long to use to make them practical. So food for thought. Just as a PS, I mentioned having the one end fixed makes this thing go a little faster. So just let me give you a quick example of that. Maybe better or easier to tie this to a piece of tree or have a buddy hold it, but you can do it just like this too. Right. So form your initial loop. There's your fixed end, and then just work these back and forth. So you get the idea. And then to undo it, boom, and we're back to usable line.